Okay, everyone, welcome to the show. I'm going to bring you a very simple overview of a concept today. I do think it's one that you could benefit from, but I would like to state up front, hey, I'm certainly no expert on this. You should 100% do your research. I wouldn't even say that the following is advice. I'm just saying, hey, I'm going to make you aware of something that you may not, or you may be aware of, called REITs, or real estate investment trusts. And hey, better to know about these things than not know about these things. I'm going to give you a surface level understanding of it as an investment vehicle, and then hey, it's on you at that point. Go do your homework and choose as you may. But here's the reality. There's a lot of people, if I can be honest with you guys, of all the probably wealthy people that I've known and like talked to CPAs who are CPA, clients of CPAs and shit like that. There's a common theme amongst people that are wealthy, and most of them have real estate holdings. And beyond just their personal residence, right? They actually have investment properties. And it's not necessarily that they had a 9-to-5 job and they started doing the real estate investment thing, because typically the 9-to-5 job is not going to give you the statistically, not going to give you the sort of income that you need to go be purchasing investment properties. Most of the real estate investors, owned a business and they use the, money they're making from the business to go get into other investments like real estate. But right now, there's a lot of people that would love to be in the world of real estate investing that simply don't have the budget for it, or not budget, but like they don't have the cash flow for it. They don't have the, whatever, I don't know, hypothetically, 100 grand sitting there in cash that they can use to go get their first investment property, whether that be to flip or to rent out. And I really think for the purposes of this, we're going to talk about income producing real estate assets versus, sort of equity-based one, which would be more of a flip, aka I buy something low, I invest something into it, and then I sell it high. That's more of an equity-based approach. I'm going to talk more income-based approach. So there's a lot of people that want to invest into income-generating real estate assets, but they simply don't have the cash to, to go throw 100 grand at getting a rental property or something like that. So a REIT is a viable solution for these people. A REIT stands for a real estate investment trust. I'll tell you, it's something that I do, I wouldn't say aggressively, but I have, over the course of time, been down that path and personally invested into them as well. And essentially what it is, don't look at it as a substitute for a primary residence, but I think it is a viable option, again, for real estate investing. So I'll just read you a couple things here. So REIT's basically an investment company. Okay, so the REIT itself is an investment company that owns, operates, and finances income-generating real estate. Okay, so what a REIT is doing is it's pooling funds from investors, right? Those funds could be whatever, $100 that you're putting in, or some guy's putting in 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever it is, right? So they're taking this collection of funds from investors that are putting money into the pool, essentially, and they're using that to go acquire real estate investments. What kind of investments would those be? Historically, apartments, data centers, healthcare facilities, hotels, cell towers, office buildings, retail buildings, and storage facilities. What you will notice is not per se in there is a house that we bought and we had a contractor and they fixed it up and they sold it for 50 grand more than they paid for it. That's a different thing. That's a totally different world of real estate investing. That's again, more of an equity-based approach versus income generating, right? An apartment building, right? Storage facilities, data centers, healthcare facilities, these are things that actually bring in a paycheck every month. And that is what a REIT is focused on. So pooling those funds from investors to get into that kind of stuff. It is ran essentially like a mutual fund or a stock, which is you're just buying shares in the REIT. You have no real say in what the REIT is going to go acquire. Sure, much like a stock, you can probably attend the shareholder meeting every year and maybe chime in with a question or something like that. But you don't really have a say. It's not like you put $500 into a REIT and you're like, hey, I think we should be doing all apartment buildings. The REIT's kind of like, okay, dude, let us handle this. You know, if you knew everything about it, you'd be doing this on your own. So there are various types of REITs, and there's pros and cons to owning them. I would suggest that you look into it, right? We're really not going to go much further than that, just because, again, it is a kind of slippery slope and it is a rabbit hole. One thing to note is it is more liquid than traditional real estate investing, AKA if I go buy 5 shares of this REIT right now at a couple $100 a share, and hey, I'm $1,000 invested into this thing and I got 5 shares. Again, if I bought a income generating property and I wanted to sell it, you can, but to suggest that it's particularly liquid, not really, you know, like kind of, sort of, but it's like, hey, yeah, you know, we got to potentially ride out the lease, then we got to fix it up a little bit, then we got to ready to sell, then we got to sell it, you know, eventually, yeah, it might be 4 months before we can actually get our money out of it. A REIT, much like a stock, again, or a mutual fund, hey, you can basically just sell your shares at any point. If it's up and you're like, hey man, that thing's up 20%, I want to go and get my money out of it, move on to the next thing, cool. Yeah, you can go ahead and cash in your chips and move out, and it takes like a day. Don't quote me on that, but you know, it should be a relatively quick turnaround. So it's just something to look into, especially for those, look, myself in the same position, right? I'm not sitting on apartment buildings that I own or anything like that. You know, it's the same thing. You go, hey, look, this is a viable way for me to be able to invest in the real estate market if I believe that that is a good investment vehicle, and I can just do it in little chunks. You know, I can put in a couple $100 here. You know, I could maybe put in $1,000 here if I got paid that bonus this month and I want to invest a little bit more. So you can partake in the upside of the real estate market without necessarily having to go all in terms of like dropping $100,000 into a house or something like that. So look into it, you know, use your judgment, but it might be an interesting vehicle for some of you that are into that kind of thing. So like I said, if you guys need real estate help, let us know. We work all over the country, not that kind of real estate. We're, you know, pretty traditional residential real estate. If you're looking for like kind of wild shit, which people like to message us about, because for some reason I put off some vibe that says, message me about the land that you want to go build a shooting range on and have a chicken coop. I'm not that guy, okay? Like I partake in those activities. I'm not the guy that's interested in helping you do that deal, because they're nightmares. And I know all of you hate me when I say that, but they are. It never works. So let us know if you need help. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.